Thanks for tuning in to the Charles Novell School of Music podcast, The Best Day Yet. Here you'll find tips, insight, and information to help your music and your ministry succeed. Whether you're a singer, a musician, or a songwriter, we want to help you where you are, but we also want to help you get to where you want to go. We believe that our talents are God's gift to us, but what we do with those are our gift back to God. Yesterday's information is important, but what we can learn today will make this the best day yet. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the CNS podcast, The Best Day Yet. This is Rob Novell. I am the host of this here podcast, and I'm excited to talk to you today. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule to tune in to see what it was that we were talking about today. Man, CNS, the Charles Novell School of Music, is all about helping individuals grow, perfect, develop the gifts, the talents, the skill sets that God has given you. And we hope as we talk on various topics and offer tips and suggestions, we hope that you'll apply it and let it make a difference in your life, in your music, and in your ministry. CNS, yes, we are a school of music, but this is a call. This is something that God has called us to do. My dad, for 58 years, ran this school, and there was a call on his life to do this. And man, I have the amazing opportunity, privilege, and yet responsibility to keep this thing moving forward. And once again, I know it's a call on my life. I love to teach. I love to speak to people. I love to share. And we bring different guests in. And I know the guests that I schedule to be part of this podcast, I know that's their heartbeat. I know that's their desire is to help singers, musicians, songwriters absolutely be the best that they can be. So we're going to talk several things today. We're going to revisit a few things that happened last week in our CNS podcast. We talked on the importance of excellence and doing what we do as good as we can do it, as well as we can do it, as perfect as we can do it, not for the applause of man, but for the applause of the audience of one that we're doing it for. And that's for our maker, our creator. That's for God. We do what we do first and foremost unto him, and then hope and pray that it can be effective as it falls on the ears of listeners and people can receive in their heart the good news about the gospel of Jesus Christ. That's why we do what we do, is to make a difference in people's lives and encourage them to have a deeper walk with God. So I think it's important that we do it with excellence. And we talked on that. If you did not hear last week's podcast, man, I would encourage you to look that up. It was released on May the 16th, and I had a couple guests on there with me. I had Marianne Oglesby Southerly and Shannon Newman. They are both staff members of the Charles Novell School of Music, and it was great just hearing their insight and knowledge on that topic last week. So if you haven't listened to that, circle back, catch that one. That's a great one. The last couple that we've released over the last month or so, I really believe are a good listen, and then a good re-listen, because I think even on a second listen, you can glean and take a lot of information away from that. Also want to talk about some recent events. I want to share a little bit from my heart on that today. Some exciting things that have recently happened and some not so exciting things. And you know what? How God uses both those situations in our lives, the good, the bad, to literally form us, create us, shape us into who that we are. But before we get into all of that, I do want to mention that CNS 23 is coming up. It's around the corner, July 16th through the 22nd at Murray State University in Murray, Kentucky. Murray is located in the southwestern corner of Kentucky. It's about an hour and 40 minutes or so north of Nashville. And if you're familiar with what they call the land between the lakes, Barkley Lake, Kentucky Lake, it is right up in that area of Kentucky, south of Paducah. And we have a history with Murray, Kentucky, and Murray State University. Our school, the roots of our school, the history of our school, the school has been there since the early 70s. Now, we've been gone for different times and seasons and a couple years here or there, but dating back a solid 50 years we have been connected and associated with Murray. It's a great little, quaint little country college town. The townspeople support us. They come out and attend our concerts in the evening, and that's always exciting to see those people. We make friends over the years, and we get to see them each summer as they come out in the evenings to be part of our concert. But the Charleston School of Music, this is a place. If you have a gifting in the area of voice, instrumentalist, a songwriter, technology, sound and audio, man, CNS is the place for you to come. And I like to say it this way. We've got a crazy gifted staff that's put into place to teach you, to help you. We also have amazing guests from the gospel music industry that will be with us that week. Again, our proximity to Nashville, it allows me to make some phone calls to some friends and say, hey, would you mind coming in, popping in for a day and speaking to our students? And so between our staff and these guests that we have coming in, I like to say it this way. CNS is the place to ask the right person the right question to get what? The right answer. So if you have an interest, if you've ever wanted to attend a summer school, we would love to have you with us at CNS 23. We are filling up. But we have plenty of room. We moved back to Murray after being gone for a couple of years due to COVID. They canceled us. I found a new location. CNS moved on. They invited us back. We came back last year for CNS 22. Our theme was coming home because, as I just shared, we've been there a while. So that was the perfect theme to put on the school returning to Murray last year. But we went back to Murray for this reason. We had a sellout a couple years ago. Murray gives us growth. Murray gives us room. We have full schools. We're flirting with capacity this year. However, we have plenty of room still. You can still register and be part of this year's session, July 16th through the 22nd. It's as simple as heading to our website, www.cnsmusic.com, and you can get more information overall on the school there. But if you'll click right on the homepage, there's a button that says register. If you'll click on that, it takes you directly to our fee and registration page, allows you to fill out the registration. And for a simple, small little deposit, you can secure your place, and we will contact you. We'll let you know that we received your registration and that we are excited about you being part of CNS 23. Pray about it, think about it, see us there July 16th through the 22nd at Murray State University for the Rob Novell School of Music's next session, CNS 23. All right, so let's talk some things today. Again, I want to just revisit a few things that we talked last week. I thought that was such a good topic. In fact, had a lot of good feedback, and we'll probably potentially do a second part to that. There was so much that came out of that. But one thing I want to talk about today, and this kind of will tie into what I'm going to wrap us up with a little later in today's episode. Mary Ann talked about, kind of towards the end of that episode, Mary Ann talked about just simply pouring in to our students. When I heard her start sharing from her heart on this area in that episode, man, it was just confirmation as to why she is on our staff. It's confirmation to why all of our staff members are on the staff at CNS. I believe in their walk. I believe in where they are with their relationship with the Lord. I believe that God has placed a mantle and an anointing of teaching on their lives, and that they love people and care about people. And when Marianne started talking about, as a teacher, being the influence on someone, man, that just struck such a chord with me. You have to understand, my dad was Dr. Charles Robert Novell. To me, he was Dr. Dad. I didn't call him that full name, but he was Dad. But man, my dad was my biggest mentor, my biggest encourager, my biggest motivator. He championed me. He helped me, pushed me at times, but it was always in the right direction. And he always knew that there was something better inside of Rob that Rob could offer God. And he really pushed me and encouraged me to be the best that I can be. So he was that influence on me. I've had the great opportunity to repay that, and to now in this season of my life, I love where God's got me. He's got me where I can encourage people. I can motivate people. I can speak into people's lives. And man, there's such negativity these days. There's so much going on. I've had people in my life, in the circles of my life, just try to verbally tear me down, just try to not encourage me, but just try to discourage me just from the sake of, and sometimes people just expect you to do things a certain way. And, if it's not their way, it's not the best way. And man, I'm very sensitive to that in this area. I want to speak into people's lives. I want to encourage people. I want to uplift them. I want to motivate them to be the best that they can be. And when Marianne started talking about that, it just, again, it really hit home for me because I've talked about this before. I think we all need to have a kind of the Paul, Barnabas, Timothy approach. We need to have people that speak into us, and then we need to have people in our lives that we're speaking into and encouraging. So, you know what? You want to do something with excellence. You want to make the Lord proud. You want to have him pat you on the back, which I've noticed this. The times that God has patted my life and said, you know what, Rob, well done, my good and faithful. Here's a pat on the back. That's always a launching. That's always a catapult to push me forward, maybe into new and different things. So you want to encourage somebody to the point that you see them be the best that they can be and do something with excellence. Man, just speak into their lives. Speak positivity over their life, over their situations, in this case, over their music. You know what? Encourage them. Just a simple, you're doing great. That's awesome. Can be such a powerful thing. Man, I believe we're called to be the influence as Christians, as deliverers of the gospel, ambassadors of the King. I think our job is to influence people in a positive way. And man, there's been so many people that have been this role in my life. And I look back again, and I know you've heard me say this, but this is on topic today. I've grown up in this school. This school is all I've ever known. I've got to chase dreams and do things musically that I wanted to do in my life. I got to check off those boxes, but it was only because key people God placed in my life in the right times, in the right seasons, in the right moments to speak encouragement to me. I don't have time. We try to limit these podcasts to a certain time frame, so I don't have time today to list the full column, the full paragraph, the full page, the full book of names that through this school have spoken to my life and have encouraged me. But I think it's just really important that we try to be that. We try to be that person into someone's life. Okay. So the other thing I want to talk about, an exciting time over this past week on Tuesday, the same day that we released the podcast with Marianne and Shannon. Last Tuesday was my 25th wedding anniversary. And I know what you're saying, Adam, if you're listening, you're like, how did that happen? You know what, Adam, I've got the same question. How in the world? Man, Jen, my wife, has been the biggest encourager and influencer, motivator on my life over the last 25 years. God placed me with someone that that he knew could figure me out, could deal with me, could help me. And man, she has, when God gives you a wife, he gives you a good thing. And in this case, he gave me a great thing. And Jen, so we got away for a little bit. We went to the beach and spent some time together. Oh, it was amazing. First time in our marriage, first time in 25 years, first time since the honeymoon that we went on a trip that was not work related, that was just the two of us. We never hired a babysitter. We were those parents that wanted to be around our kids, wanted to involve our kids in the things that we would do. They went on family vacation. It's not much of a family vacation if you don't take the family, but this was a special, special time. I kind of surprised her. I booked it before I had talked with her about it and wanted to surprise her and us just get away. And Man, just, sitting on the beach with nothing to do allows you to do a lot of, a lot of reflecting, and different things happened, like just sitting there watching the waves come in, go back out, come in, go back out. It was the same thing over and over. However, I noticed that as the waves would come in, the pattern was a little different. The footprint that they left looked just a little different. And God started to deal with me last week on the area of consistency and inconsistency. And I think both of these are really important in our lives and in our music and here in our ministries. Man, there's some things I think we can make lists on each column that I think can help us develop, help us grow, help push us forward. On the area of consistency, to be completely honest, I think the only thing that works in our favor as being a consistent thing is in the area of our practice. I think we need to practice consistently on a daily, yes, I said that daily word, basis. We need to get in as much time as we can. My dad pointed something out to me. He would ask me, okay, Robbie, how much did you practice on Monday? Well, Dad, I put an hour in on Monday. What about Tuesday? I skipped Tuesday. What about Wednesday? Well, I put in an hour on Wednesday. And he'd stop me and he would say this. Well, then in reality, you only put 30 minutes in on Monday because you missed Tuesday. So he really started to explain to me the importance of consistency in the area of my practice. Doing the same thing every single day. Now, we've talked in practice and I've given you kind of my blueprint, my outline. There are several different areas within my practice that I do to help me. There's days that working on new material, it's not going that well. So I will set that on pause and I will go back and play songs that I've been playing for years. And then if, there's other times that I'm looking at material that I'm currently working on, but man, I may not perform it for 6 months from now. So there's different things that I can do to help with the feelings of, oh gosh, I have to practice today. No, I've talked about this. I think the mindset doesn't need to be, I have to practice. What we got to be saying over our practice time is, I get to practice today. Where I am now as an adult with multiple jobs and responsibilities and a family, man, when I get a chance to practice, I get super excited. I love teaching. I have about 40 students a week here in the Atlanta area. But when a student doesn't show up, man, I get excited about that because that is a built-in 30-minute session for me to practice. I can sit there in my teaching studio and play on my phone for 30 minutes, or I can practice for 30 minutes. So I look for those opportunities to squeeze in whatever practice I can. So I think consistency, I think we have to have a routine. We have to be in a normal flow. If we want to get better, we can't expect to get better if we don't put in the work. My dad would tell me, Robbie, nothing comes free. You got to work hard to accomplish whatever it is that you are trying to accomplish. So very, very important in the area of consistency. Now, here's where I got to start to get a little challenged in this area of consistency. I started thinking different aspects of what we do in ministry. I think if we're doing the same thing the same way constantly, just being the Xerox guy and just, consistently doing the same program, consistently carrying maybe the same product on our table, we're going to have a really cool discussion over product and merchandise and that type of thing at CNS 23. And I'm really excited about it because I believe through this situation on the beach last week in this area of consistency and inconsistency, I think there's a lot that we can challenge ourselves with when we have this talk at the school. So mix things up, change things around. Here's the thing. If your display table looks like it did 20 years ago, man, that's not being, yes, it's being consistent, but I think that is an inconsistency. I think we need to be encouraged to change things up a little bit. If your songs, your set list are the same songs that you were doing 20 years ago, man, I think we got to stretch ourselves. I think we got to be encouraged to look outside of the box and maybe try some new and some different things. There's all kinds of music available to us. It's 2023. We have multiple subgenres under the heading of Christian music. We've got everything from Southern gospel to bluegrass to praise and worship to CCM. The spectrum is huge. And one thing that I've noticed well, first off, for me, I'll just keep this real personal. When I go out to minister, my objective, I want to reach every single person in that room. And I'm aware that not everybody in that room is all going to like the same thing. There's going to be different age groups that may prefer something over the other. But I have found this, if it is presented in a way and if it honors God and ministers within the song, I don't care what style it is, if it uplifts the name of Jesus and can speak into people's lives and encourage them, I'm all about it. So it may be time to look outside of the box and stretch your set list a little bit. You know what? That tablecloth that you've had that you bought in 1982, it probably, if I walked into your concert, it probably looks like you got it in 1982. I think every now and then we just need to change things up. I have personally, and I know of other artists that have repackaged product because it just looked old and dated. And, presentation a lot of times is the key. People see us before they hear us. I've shared that. Scott Godsey said that a couple years ago. Man, that just really resonated in me, and I can't get rid of that. When a lot of times when people walk into the front of that church and see your product table, they're making decisions in their mind of what's fixing to happen before you take the stage and start the first song. So in a lot of cases, that's something you need to think about. People see us before they hear us. So, man, just take a little effort to update the look of your product table, update the look of your product, update some of the things that you're carrying. Buttons and bumper stickers aren't currently what they were in the 70s and 80s. So if you're still carrying bumper stickers and stickers and buttons, you know what? Maybe time to find something new to set on the side of your product table. So, just a couple little thoughts there on consistency and consistency. Let me also say this. I am not I'm a go kind of person. I have to just keep rolling. If I don't, a lot of times I get down. If I stop, sometimes I get depressed. I like to go. I am Charles Robert Novell II. It's my dad's fault. His DNA is strongly set in me, and I'm a go guy. But let me say this. Last week, Jen and I at the beach celebrating 25 years, the best 25 years of my life. And I realized something. We married for 25 years. We dated and were engaged for 2 years. So 27 years that I have done life with Jen. I'm 53. I officially, on the beach last week, realized I've done more life with Jen than I did without her. And man, that's something really, really cool. Something really cool for me to say. I'm proud of that because she's an amazing individual. If you don't know my wife, you need to get to know her. She would be a blessing in your life. So here's what I learned last week that is hard sometimes for Rob to hear. Man, it's important, you all, to stop at times and just enjoy life, enjoy your wife, enjoy your kids, enjoy your family. Just ministry's tough. And, we see the example with Mary and Martha. One was so busy working and the other was just sitting. Sometimes I think that, kind of the moral of that story, she heard Jesus speak because that was her intention. That's what she decided she was going to do that day. She wasn't going to work her way to Jesus. She was going to sit and listen to Jesus. And man, that sitting moment for me last week, I believe really allowed me to hear him in a fresh, clean, undistracted way because I had set some things aside to just focus on just a little R&R, a little time away with my beautiful bride. And God used that to speak into my life. So I want to encourage you, take some time for yourself. There is nothing wrong with that. In fact, I came out of that charged, excited, ready to go. Pretty much, we left the beach. I bring Jen home. Day later, I'm in the car. I'm heading to Cincinnati. I was in Cincinnati over the weekend with my studio, Counterpoint Recording. I have a thing called Counterpoint North. I do tracks in Atlanta or Nashville, but I can meet my artists from the north in Cincinnati. I rent a room up there that we can record in. And a lot of times, like this past Saturday, we were working on vocals with one of my artists on a new album that's coming out. And so, hey, if you're listening from the north, we still do what we do and would love to meet you in Ohio to do some recording. So if you're in the north and you're got any interest in a project, reach out to me. I'd love to help you with that. But while I was there, I got just some sad news on Saturday, and I saw it on Facebook. Billy Blackwood had posted it, and since then I've reached out, talked to Billy, and to talk about it, and we got to spend some time sharing and speaking. I heard of the passing of one of those influences in my life, someone that spoke into me and multiple times at different seasons of my life to encourage me and motivate me to truly be the best that I can be. It was someone that modeled excellence in front of me. It was someone that spoke to me at times the way God led them to kind of bluntly to help me, tough love type of things. And that was Bill Bays. And I heard on Saturday the passing of Bill. Bill was best known as the tenor for J.D. Sumner and the Stamps. An amazing vocalist, absolutely gifted tenor, in my opinion, one of the best to ever sing in gospel music. And, was probably best known because of J.D. Sumner and the Stamps' involvement with Elvis, backup group there. If you YouTube any Elvis performances, you're going to see the Stamps there on the stage. Bill's usually on the far end of the line there. If you've not done this, go to YouTube and search Elvis, J.D. Sumner and the Stamps, Sweet, Sweet Spirit, and listen to Bill. Two things about that. Listen to Bill on that cut, and then watch Elvis's reaction to the Stamps singing that great, great gospel song. And man, it touches me every time I see it, because Elvis had gospel groups singing for him because Elvis loved gospel music. And in fact, Bill was only one of two people to be asked to sing at Elvis's funeral. Just a gifted singer. And Bill was on our staff at the Charlesville School of Music for decades. I look back, it's hard for me to remember life without Bill Bays being in it. As a kid, I remember him being at the school. I remember him being with the Stamps. J.D. Sumner and the Stamps did a live recording live at Murray State University. Absolutely, again, in my opinion, one of the best, if not the best, live recording in gospel music history. And I remember, in fact, I'm in my studio as I'm recording this. I'm looking at a picture right now of J.D. Sumner and the Stamps that they were rehearsing for that concert. And Dad took this picture. I was 5-6 years old. It was a 2-night concert, 2-night recording. I remember both nights. Dad played on that album, was the choir from the school, was part of that project. And a lot of great memories from that. A lot of great memories of him, again, through the school. My teenage years, I was a bit of a knucklehead, y'all. And he on a couple occasions pulled me aside and spoke into me. And it was on time, needed, but most importantly, received. And later, we had the amazing opportunity through Counterpoint Recording. I produced 3 projects for Bill, and a couple things happened during that was just they'll be memories I'll keep with me forever. One of the things was just his creativity in the studio as we were working on original songs that his daughter Susan Farah had recorded. He really helped me early on in us starting Counterpoint. He helped me with arranging and producing a lot of the things that I learned from him in those sessions. But the one story that really sticks out was we were in a session, we were in between songs, went out to do what you do in between songs in the studio, get another cup of coffee. And myself and our guitar guy, Scott Weaver at the time, and our drummer, Kevin Metz, we called Bird. The three of us were out there and we were just kind of talking, getting coffee. And Bill walked out and he said, I'll never forget this. He said, and I recently heard something similar to this. And over the weekend, I think with Bill's passing and me thinking of things and then hearing this again, it took me back to this story. He come out, he didn't say, hey, great job, guys. We're doing good. We only got a couple more. He walked out, started pouring a cup of coffee. He's like, hey, do you boys know how to grow corn? I looked at Scott, I looked at Bird. I'm like, no, we don't know how do you grow corn, Bill? And he said, well, if you want to grow corn, you have to plant corn. And I'm like, at the time, I'm like, boy, that was deep. But I soon, as he kept talking, realized the impact of what he was saying. Here's what he told us. If you want to grow corn, you have to plant corn. Once you plant corn, you have to nourish it. You have to, well, even before that, you have to till the soil and get everything prepped. And then once you plant corn and you're waiting for corn to come, you've got to nourish it. You've got to weed it. You got to water it. You've got to take care of it. And he used that to speak into the gifts that God had given us through our music. And he encouraged us to take care and protect the gift that God had given us. And man, that spoke so much into me at that season of my life. And I put a post on Facebook and, I said it this way, music lost a great, hands down, one of the best, if not the best tenor to ever take a hold of a microphone. So music lost a great. He was a staff member at CNS for years. He was this influence that I've talked about. And I said CNS lost an influence. And I lost a hero. But heaven gained a Bill. And, I can't wait, you all, to get home at the end of this for all of us and to see loved ones that have gone on before us. So I woke yesterday morning in Ohio and was leaving to come back to Atlanta. And before I did, I had to swing by and see my dad and just ask him, you and Bill having fun today? And man, it encouraged me. It was emotional. I had a moment there, but I began to share with him the things that we're doing with the school and how the school's looking for this summer, the staff and guests I've got coming in, these podcasts and what we do on a weekly basis and how we're helping people not just once a year anymore, but literally through these podcasts on a weekly basis, all of our online things, all of the different weekend sessions that we do throughout the course of the year, all leading up to our big national session in July in Murray, Kentucky. I just was sharing and just speaking to them and, like any son would do with their father, just having conversation. And God spoke into me in that season and said, you know what? You're speaking of two influencers, Bill Bays, you're speaking of your father, but Rob, it's your season. You be the influence. And I made some phone calls yesterday just to talk to some people, to check on some people. And you know what? Just try to pay back what some of these great people have done in my life. So again, if you want to do things with excellence, man, encourage people, motivate them, push them to be the best that they can be. And when you do that, you're going to truly see that it will make today or that day, whichever day that you do that, it's going to make it your best day yet. Y'all be blessed. Thanks for listening to the Charles Novell School of Music podcast, The Best Day Yet. You can follow us on Facebook Instagram, and Twitter under the name the Charles Novell School of Music. And for more information on CNS and our upcoming events, like our online school, our weekend regional sessions, our creative coaching, and our pastor's retreat, you can visit us at our website at www.cnsmusic.com. As you've listened to this episode, we hope that you've gained some information that you can apply to your music and to your ministry to make today the best day yet.